brought to us by the Civil Rights Lawyers channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. On July 30th, 2021, Officer James Reynolds of the Fort Worth Police Department pulled over pregnant language teacher Vilmaris Montalvo while she was driving to pick up her husband from the hospital after surgery in Fort Worth, Texas. According to Officer Reynolds, he initiated the traffic stop because Ms. Montalvo did not move over or slow down when passing a stopped emergency vehicle, and Ms. Montalvo did not pull over for several miles after he activated his cruiser's emergency lights. Ms. Montalvo eventually stopped her vehicle in a parking lot, and the interaction that followed was captured by Officer Reynolds' body camera.
Get out of the car, ma'am. You're under arrest. And don't make me pull you out.
An officer who arrests a person for a violation of this subtitle punishable as a misdemeanor, and who does not take the person before a magistrate, shall issue a written notice to appear in court. That is the exact wording of Texas Transportation Code Section 543.003. Keep that sentence in your mind, because everything you are about to see happened after this law was already written down, already public, already the rule everyone swore to follow. Picture a hospital bracelet still on a man's wrist and his wife in handcuffs 3 miles away. That is the entire story in one image. A husband recovering from heart surgery, waiting for a ride that was never going to come.
Get out of the car, ma'am. You're under arrest. And don't make me pull you out.
What's wrong?
Transmitter back.
Please let me call my husband.
Get in the car.
He's in the hospital waiting for me. Oh my gosh, please help me.
Sit down. Talk to me. Get in the car, ma'am.
I got 5226 coming.
She's under arrest. She's going to jail on a cash bond for failing to vacate the lane closest to an emergency vehicle and for failing to yield to an emergency vehicle.
He tells her she is going to jail on a cash bond for failing to move over for a stopped emergency vehicle and for not yielding fast enough. 2 words matter here: cash bond. Because he decided it. At one point, caught on his own microphone, Reynolds mutters that he was close to just writing her a ticket instead. Close, but he didn't. That single sentence is the moral center of this entire case. He almost let her go. He chose not
Yield to an emergency vehicle.
After handcuffing Ms. Montalvo and placing her in the back of his vehicle, Officer Reynolds states that Ms. Montalvo is going to jail on a cash bond. According to Article 17.01 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, quote, "Bail is the security given by the accused that he will appear and answer before the proper court the accusation brought against him, and includes a bail bond or a personal bond. A bail bond is when a bail bond company pays the defendant's bail in exchange for a fee, typically 10% of the total bond amount. If the defendant appears in court as required, the bail is refunded to the bond company, but the 10% fee is retained. If the defendant fails to appear in court and the bail is forfeited, the defendant or the person who obtained the bond is responsible for repaying the entire amount to the bail bond company. Generally, Article 17.028 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure requires that, quote, "Without unnecessary delay, but not later than 48 hours after a defendant is arrested, a magistrate shall order, after individualized consideration of all circumstances, that the defendant be granted personal bond with or without conditions, granted surety or cash bond with or without conditions, or denied bail in accordance with the Texas Constitution and other law." However, Article 14.06 clarifies that, quote, "A peace officer who is charging a person with committing an offense that is a Class C misdemeanor may, instead of taking the person before a magistrate, issue a citation." And Article 1720 states that, quote, "In cases of misdemeanor, the sheriff or other peace officer may, where the officer has a defendant in custody, take the defendant's bail." As we will discuss later in this episode, both of the traffic offenses that Officer Reynolds has accused Ms. Montalvo of committing are Class C misdemeanors punishable by a fine only. So it is possible that a court would conclude that Officer Reynolds would.
In plain English, that means before Montalvo goes free, someone has to hand over money. Not a promise, not a signature, money. Here is the irony explosion. The law Reynolds is enforcing does not actually require that. Texas Transportation Code Section 543.005 says a person arrested for this kind of traffic misdemeanor can be released simply by signing a written promise to appear in court. No cash, no bond company, just a signature. The officer arresting her for breaking the rules was at the very same moment arguably breaking the rules on how to release her. Officer discretion decided her fate, not the statute.
Title punishable as a misdemeanor, and who does not take the person before a magistrate shall issue a written notice to appear in court. And Section 543.005 states that, quote, to secure release, the person arrested must make a written promise to appear in court by signing the written notice prepared by the arresting officer. The officer shall then promptly release the person from custody. While the interplay between these statutes is complicated at the very least, Ms. Montalvo would have a colorable argument that Officer Reynolds would either be required to take her in front of a magistrate or issue a written notice to appear in court and release her upon signing a promise to appear, and that he would not have the authority to unilaterally require her to pay cash bond in this situation.
Ma'am, you want to leave your car here or you want me to impound it?
Your incident has been updated.
My husband is in the hospital having surgery. He's waiting for
Ma'am, I understand. Why do you think it's okay for you to do what you did? Why do you think...
I don't understand what I did.
I've been behind you for 5
I
miles.
didn't realize you were following me.
You are
God.
not believable.
I went to look in the hospital because of my husband.
Do you have a... Where's your driver's license?
It's in my wallet.
Is this your purse?
No. Please, would you explain to me what's going on?
Ma'am, I feel silly explaining to you what's going on. You're an adult and you have a driver's license. So you know that when a police car gets behind you, turns on the lights and turns on the siren. And I stay behind, stop. You asked me to explain, I'm doing that. When that happens, you are required to yield, to pull over and stop immediately, not 5 miles later. And there are consequences for our actions. When we do something good, we're rewarded. When we do something bad, there's a penalty. Your penalty today is, I'm going to put you in jail. And that's so that you don't think you can get away with this tomorrow.
No.
You're under arrest and you're going to jail.
Please listen to me.
What?
Please listen to me. I realized right there in that light right there that I have police car behind me.
That is not believable, ma'am.
Is this really about a lane change? Or is it about what happens when one person with a badge decides a pregnant woman's explanation is not good enough to believe? That is the question sitting underneath every minute of this body cam video. Legally, Reynolds was standing on solid ground for the arrest itself. The Supreme Court ruled in Atwater v. City of Lago Vista in 2001 that police can arrest someone for a fine-only misdemeanor, even something as small as a seatbelt violation, without violating the Fourth Amendment. Before we go deeper into what the body cam and the court records actually show, make sure you're subscribed to Police Misconduct Case, because we don't just cover the story, we follow the evidence. July 30th, 2021, Fort Worth, Texas. Vilma Montalvo is a language teacher. She is pregnant. She is driving during her lunch break to pick up her husband, who was just discharged after heart surgery. Behind her, Officer James Reynolds of the Fort Worth Police Department turns on his lights. Montalvo does not pull over right away. She says later she did not realize the lights were for her. For almost 5 miles, Reynolds follows. Then she stops in a parking lot.
Emergency vehicle and failing to yield to an emergency vehicle. According to the police report Officer Reynolds authored on this encounter, Ms. Montalvo allegedly, quote, failed to vacate the lane closest to an emergency vehicle and failed to slow to 20 miles per hour or more under the posted speed. The report also states that when Officer Reynolds initiated a traffic stop, Ms. Montalvo, quote, failed to yield for approximately 4.8 miles. Section 545.157 of the Texas Transportation Code requires that when approaching a stationary authorized authorized emergency vehicle using visual signals, quote, "An operator shall vacate the lane closest to the vehicle when driving on a highway with 2 or more lanes traveling in the direction of the vehicle, or slow to a speed not to exceed 20 miles per hour less than the posted speed limit when the posted speed limit is 25 miles per hour or more, or 5 miles per hour when the posted speed limit is less than 25 miles per hour. Additionally, Section 545.156 of the Texas Transportation Code states that, quote, "On the immediate approach of a police vehicle lawfully using only an audible or visual signal, an operator shall yield the right of way, immediately drive to a position parallel to and as close as possible to the right-hand edge or curb of the roadway clear of any intersection, and stop and remain standing until the authorized emergency vehicle has passed." As mentioned earlier in this episode, both of these traffic offenses are misdemeanors that are only punishable by a fine of up to $200, according to Section 542.301 and 542.401 of the Texas Transportation Code. Despite this, as we will discuss further in a moment, both Texas state law and the Supreme Court's interpretations of the Fourth Amendment unambiguously authorize Officer Reynolds to arrest Ms. Montalvo for either violation.
He tells her, almost like a lecture to a child, that her penalty today is jail. Not because the law demanded it.
The badge is not the same as the boundary. That is the first time we say it. Remember it, because it comes back. Now, the parallel narrative, the part almost nobody who watches the body cam ever learns. This was not Reynolds' first accusation of misconduct. By the time this stop happened in July 2021, Officer Reynolds had already accumulated 29 citizen complaints. 8 were substantiated. Some of the unsubstantiated ones still noted he had acted, in the department's own words, very unprofessionally. 29 complaints. Still on duty, still on patrol.
You can call your husband, you can come scoot in. You're still going to jail, and you can tell him where your car is. Where's your husband?
In the hospital.
Which one? Can he drive?
Medical City Forward.
Do you have family there that I can give this key
it's
to?
only him. He can drive. He just had surgery.
Okay. No, I don't care. It'll be good.
Do I know where I'm going?
You're going to Forward Jail.
Forward where?
Jail. And I'm not accusing you of running from me. You were not running from me. The reason I pulled you over in the first place, come on now, ma'am, was because you didn't move out of the left lane. There were 3 police cars stopped in the left shoulder.
I swear, did you realize? I'm sorry. This is my first time.
It's
going
unbelievable.
through this.
I don't believe it. Oh no, ma'am. Is he still going to have his surgery?
He had surgery. He was discharged.
Oh, okay.
They were waiting for me.
Okay.
And it was in my lunch time. I'm a teacher.
And what?
I was during my lunch time. I'm a teacher, and I was going to pick him up. So I go to.
You have a degree, a college degree.
Yes, sir.
And you have a driver's license because I've seen it. And you're telling me, just be honest with me for this long. Just be honest with me. You're telling me that you didn't know that I was behind you trying to make you stop until the red light before.
I swear that was an accident or something. I didn't think it was me because.
Come on, man. I was so close to not bringing her in. Just writing her a ticket.
Texas state law backs that up too. So no, this was not an illegal arrest. But legal and right are not the same word. The badge is not the same as the boundary. Listen to how the encounter actually sounds. Montalvo pleading to call her husband. Reynolds telling her, quote, "There are consequences for our actions."
Atwater versus City of Lago Vista that the Fourth Amendment does not prohibit an officer from making a warrantless arrest for misdemeanor offenses punishable only by fines, such as the ones in this situation, holding that, quote, "If an officer has probable cause to believe that an individual has committed even a very minor criminal offense in his presence, he may, without violating the Fourth Amendment, arrest the offender." In this instance, Texas state law also explicitly authorizes Officer Reynolds to arrest Ms. Montalvo, as Section 543.001 of the Texas Transportation Code states that, quote, "Any peace officer may arrest without warrant a person found committing a violation of this subtitle." Although it is not applicable to this situation, it is also important to note that the Supreme Court decided in the 2008 case of Virginia versus Moore that officers do not violate the Fourth Amendment by making an arrest based on probable cause, even when the arrest is prohibited by state law. In this case, an individual was arrested for driving on a suspended license, despite the fact that Virginia state law required the officers to issue a summons instead of making an arrest. The court explained that, quote, "In a long line of cases, we have said that when an officer has probable cause to believe a person committed even a minor crime in his presence, the arrest is constitutionally reasonable," and noted that in previous decisions, when a state chooses to protect privacy beyond the level that the Fourth Amendment requires, the court had, quote, "treated additional protections exclusively as matters of state law, partially because, quote, linking Fourth Amendment protections to state law would cause them to vary from place to place and from time to time. The court ultimately concluded that, quote, warrantless arrests for crimes committed in the presence of an arresting officer are reasonable under the Constitution, and that while states are free to regulate such arrests however they desire, state restrictions do not alter the Fourth Amendment's protections.
So here is where we leave it, because this is not ours to close for you. Pull up the Fort Worth Police Department's public disciplinary records and internal affairs summaries on Officer James Reynolds. Read the 8 substantiated complaints for yourself. Then ask yourself this question and answer it in the comments. At what number of substantiated complaints should a department stop asking an officer to use better judgment and start asking whether he should still be carrying a badge at all?
So let me ask you this. So even if you knew I just wanted to pass you, why wouldn't you pull over and let me pass you?
They can't help you, sorry.
Yeah. Okay. I'll take it.
Not coming in here?
No. Man, listen, I'm going to write you a bunch of tickets, and I'm going to take you back. And I don't even know what to tell you. I would tell you how you should have behaved, but you know that. You know that you should have pulled over. There's nothing I can tell you that you don't know. You're just not being honest with me.
Being honest, I swear to God. I mean, I'm a Christian believer. I'm not lying. Maybe I was so distracted I didn't realize.
No.
I realized on the light.
Just stop. Just stop. All right, ma'am, you're free to go. I wrote your ticket for not moving over.
The badge is not the same as the boundary. Third and final time. Some rules are written in statute books. Others are written in what one officer decides, alone on the side of the road, when no one is watching except his own camera. If this case raised questions for you, like this video, share it, subscribe to Police Misconduct Case, and turn on notifications, because we will keep following the evidence, case by case, until accountability stops being the exception and starts being the rule.
Court records show that the failure to yield charge was dismissed prior to trial on June 16, 2022, and that Ms. Montalvo was granted a so-called deferred disposition, which allows the charge to be dismissed after the successful completion of a period of probation, for the charge of failing to vacate the lane closest to the emergency vehicle. After the incident, Ms. Montalvo filed a complaint with the Fort Worth Police Department, and after she received a letter clearing Officer Reynolds of any wrongdoing, she filed another complaint with the Office of Police Oversight Monitor. As a result of her complaints, the Fort Worth Police Department conducted an internal affairs investigation, which was monitored by the Oversight Monitor. As of July 2021, when this interaction occurred, Officer Reynolds had received 29 citizen complaints. While only 8 of these complaints were so-called substantiated, some of the unsubstantiated allegations determined that Officer Reynolds had behaved, quote, very unprofessional.
Still, the officer who decided a pregnant woman on her lunch break driving to a hospital deserved handcuffs instead of a ticket. After Montalvo filed her own complaint, the department's internal review cleared him. She did not stop there. She escalated to the Office of Police Oversight Monitor. That independent review led to an internal affairs investigation, and this time, Reynolds was suspended for 7 days. 7 days. For a pattern of 29 complaints. For an arrest built on a discretionary call that a written notice to appear could have resolved instead. 29 complaints, still on duty. Say it again, because it is the number that should stop you cold every single time. In the end, both charges against Montalvo moved through the system quietly. The failure to yield charge was dismissed before trial in June 2022. The other charge ended in deferred disposition, meaning if she stayed out of trouble, it would be wiped from her record. No trial, no conviction. Just months of stress stacked on top of a hospital discharge and a due date. The badge is not the same as the boundary. That is the second time.
Uses of power that can occur when officers make decisions based on their egos rather than their training, and are driven by their emotional responses rather than a desire to protect and serve their communities. Ms. Montalvo gets a B, because while I have a tremendous amount of empathy for the stress caused by a loved one having surgery, if she truly did not notice that Officer Reynolds was attempting to pull her over for nearly 5 miles, she was not paying enough attention to the road to safely drive her vehicle. Life is full of stressful situations, and it is vital for the safety of everyone on the road that drivers do not get behind the wheel when they are not in the state of mind to drive effectively and attentively. That being said, Ms. Montalvo certainly did not deserve to be arrested for her driving mistakes, and it was entirely inappropriate for Officer Reynolds to subject her to this unnecessary amount of additional stress, particularly while she was pregnant.